Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. It's interesting, right? So last night, the word came out, or yesterday, I don't even know if it was really last night. Yesterday, the word came out that the president was planning on eliminating, forgiving, whatever words you want to use, $10,000 of student loan debt. I believe that I didn't read anything because I just had a lot of stuff to do, but there's a chance that some people could have up to $20,000 forgiven or eliminated. And you would have thought that with that, there would be universal praise, that people would go, that everybody would go, oh man, this is really awesome, right? This is really awesome because education costs, they don't match what you make when you get out of school. Like, unless you are, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter what you do. The amount of money that you make when you graduate college, if you had to pay for college yourself, i.e. take out loans, is not going to be enough for you to recoup the money that you spent on the education without a long period of time going by. It puts you in an interesting situation, right? Because it almost forces you to default on your loans or to push your loans back, to do something that keeps you from paying on those loans. But here's the thing. If you get your loans paused or a forbearance or whatever, all of the cool little things that they have for you to do in order to not pay back your student loans legally at that time, you're still paying interest. And that interest just continues to get more and more. You're not talking about interest on $100 or $1,000, or in many cases, not even $10,000. You're talking about interest on 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 of debt. That's just from people who are going to make jobs that fall anywhere between 30 and 70,000, maybe even 100,000. Like, when you look at the middle class and how much the middle class makes, and the fact that the middle class, even though they're not taxed the highest, they have the least amount of tax breaks, which means they end up paying the most. Percentage-wise, they end up paying the most. Because the rich, they know all the loopholes. They've got all of the strategies to be able to keep their money. Middle class, we don't have that. We just have to pay this money. Or they hire 15,000 new people working in the IRS to make sure that they find them. It's crazy to me, right? And I want you to think about this. Why is it that every time the middle class or the poor receive any type of financial break, there's inflation that happens? Anytime poor people or middle class people receive any type of financial windfall, any type of break, any type of hustle, why is it that that is the time that we get high inflation? When the rich get all these tax breaks, inflation levels don't go up. When the rich are able to get these government subsidies and these grants and these, when they know all of they know all the loopholes to get all the money for free, inflation doesn't go up. The only time that this country decides we're going to hike the prices up is when people like you and me, people like us, when we get an opportunity to get a little bit of money back to us. We had a full-on inflation hike over $3,000 and $4,000 going to American homes, not $20,000, $30,000, $60,000 extra going into American homes. People, and only the people who actually, needed it, and some could argue some of the people who needed it didn't get it, but only middle class people and lower class people, middle class and poor people, oh, I shouldn't say lower class, it sounds so awful. Middle class people and poor people who had filed taxes, those are the people who got these stimulus checks. So those are the people who were able to get your $1,500 and your $2,500 and all of that stuff. Those are the people who took advantage of that. The people who needed money. The rich people didn't need money. But when the poor people and the middle class people, when they were able to get a little bit of money, hey, it's up on everything. Fast food restaurants started charging prices for sandwiches that you would get at a regular sit-down restaurant. You can't get a legitimate, good, like value meal, what's supposed to be a value, you can't even get a good value meal from a fast food restaurant that doesn't run you over $10 now. Not if you want actual food. Not if you want actual food. Everything costs extra. The sandwich, the large fries, and the drink, you're coming out with $10+. At that point, what's the use of going to a fast food restaurant? But that only happened when all of a sudden the Mr. and Mrs. Joe Blow got $3,000, $4,000, a $2,500 stimulus check and a $1,500 stimulus check, I believe it was. At some point during the other administration, it was $1,000. So altogether, in this entire time, when stimulus checks have been given out, the average person probably receives something in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $6,000 overall. I'm not even sure of the math, but $5,000 to $6,000 extra per person in this country should not be enough for the country to all of a sudden decide we're going to run it up. And it's only when the poor people, it's only when the middle class people are about to get some money that we decide, oh no, we've got to charge them more. Nobody finds that strange. There's never been a recession when the poor people and the middle class people can't pay. There's only a recession when rich people get hurt. There's only a recession when the wealthy take a big loss. That's when we have a recession. There's never inflation when it's up for the rich people. When they're making money hand over fist, the prices of things don't go up. It's only when we make money. It's only when we get raises, when our average income increases. The problem is the increase in our average income doesn't match the amount of money you people charge. So now an education that used to cost $12,000, tuition, room, and board at a public school, average across the nation, that's an average. What used to be $12,000, tuition, room, and board across the nation, now is over double that. The actual room and board costs more today than tuition, room, and board would have cost back in the day, back in the times when I was coming through. But when this was announced that the tax was going to get, that people were going to get forgiven $10,000. Most people don't have $10,000 in student loans. So even after this is forgiven, they're still going to owe thousands upon thousands of dollars in student loans. I don't know why people don't like Biden. So if I was Biden, I would have forgiven it all. Why not? You don't like me anyway. I forgive it all. Yet you saw people, normally the people with money already, upset that student loans were forgiven. Not even the full student loan, just $10,000. Why are you pocket watching? Why are y'all out there worried about what other people are getting in their money? Why should it matter to you? If it doesn't hurt your bottom line one iota, nobody that's rich, no Republican, no person that's against it, it does not affect them at all. Oh, well, our taxes are going to get increased. When have the taxes increased? People keep saying that the taxes are going to increase. But when have the taxes increased? You know what I've seen increase? Prices. Oh, well, we got to worry about these taxes. We got to worry about these taxes. Oh, word? When's that going to happen? Because the only thing I see keep going up is the prices of the things that the wealthy own that they sell to the people who need it. There's no reason why gas is up, and yet gas has doubled. There's no reason for it. Supply chains aren't in trouble. A lot of the things that we were waiting on have evened out. Why did chicken wings go up? We raise chickens right here in our own country. Domestically, we raise chickens. Why did the price of chicken wings go up? Why did the price of meats go up when we raise them right here in our country? I ain't talking about Kobe beef. If Kobe beef goes up, okay, that's international. You got to bring that in. We're right here in these states. Why is it harder for the average American family to be able to feed themselves now than it was a year ago, 2 years ago, because they got $3,000, $4,000? How short-sighted is that? What kind of a country do we live in where if I get some money, somebody that makes 5 times what I get is upset and tries to keep me from getting a little bit of money? In this case, we're not even talking about real money. We're talking about phantom money. These are zeros and ones that are getting bounty about in cyberspace. So now if my student debt goes from $50,000 to $40,000, how did that affect you? I'm still going to pay the same amount that I pay in my student loan payments. So if I go from $35,000 to $25,000, I'm still paying. When the rich can't pay, they file bankruptcy. You know what happens in bankruptcy court? They decide what asset the rich person has. They could liquidate and then pay each creditor a little bit of money. So they don't have to pay all the money. They only pay a little bit of the money. And when the proceedings are over, that rich person walks out of those doors and no longer owes anybody anything. They are able to start over from square one and build themselves back up. Our president, our former president, Donald Trump, has gone to bankruptcy court for not being able to pay. That is the hustle. That is the hustle that the rich get, that us middle class and poor people never get an opportunity to understand. So if you can file for bankruptcy and get out of paying back millions upon millions of dollars that you owe people because you had a business venture that failed, why would you ever be mad that we got $10,000 forgiven off of $70,000 worth of student loans, off of $50,000 worth, off of $25,000 worth of student loans? We still have money to repay. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me the level of pocket watching that we do in this country. It's the ultimate form of hate. I could care less what you make. It doesn't affect me at all. I just know that when it's time for me to get mine, I want you to keep your mouth shut. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.